All right, are we live? All right, YouTube live. What's up? Hold on, let me notify everyone that I am now live streaming at youtube.com/Rama screen. By the way, today is July 5th, 2018. You know what that means? That is the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp is hitting theaters starting this evening. So enjoy, everybody. It's a really fantastic, awesome sequel. I highly recommend it. It's a movie that everybody of all ages in the family can enjoy. It's just so much fun. It's hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. All the jokes landed. But I'm not here to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp, basically. By the way, if you guys hear the sound of like twirling fan in the background, is because I do have a couple of fans facing me right now because the weather is freakishly hot right now in Southern California. It is hot like a motherfucker, man. I was like sweating like crazy. So yeah, just want to say I apologize if you hear, a loud sound of fans in the background, but it's because I don't have an AC, and so I have to do with what I can. Um, I'm here today to do a impromptu YouTube live to discuss a topic that was kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Yeah, controversial these past couple of days since the announcement or the news hit the web, I believe Tuesday, regarding one of the world's most famous actresses, one of the most beautiful women on the planet, I want to add, Scarlett Johansson, whom I've had the pleasure of meeting at a couple of press junkets, but haven't had the opportunity to interview in person. Yeah, man, trust me, she is as gorgeous in person as she is on the screen. Take that from me. But she is not without her, controversies. If you recall, Ghost in the Shell last year, remember Ghost in the Shell movie based on a famous anime, and everybody was pissed, rightfully so. I was on their side because of the whitewashing thing, because it's a Japanese character, and turns out if you had watched the film, spoiler alert, her character is supposedly, I guess, her initial or her original character before she became her was a Japanese. So that itself was like, wow, that's quite a stretch, just so you can cast Scarlett Johansson. At the same time, I've already mentioned in the video about it last year that from a business standpoint, it's understandable. Hollywood studio wants to bank on names that they know can bring in box office money, that can get people's asses in theater seats, names that can sell tickets. And Scarlett Johansson is supposedly one of those names. Unfortunately, though, the backlash over the whitewashing thing hit the movie really hard. If I'm not mistaken, the movie had a loss about 60 to, let me double check this again from Box Office Mojo, but it was not a lucrative result for Ghost in the Shell. And so people were angry, and it showed at the box office. They were not flocking to see Ghost in the Shell. It hit the movie pretty hard. So I doubt that the sequel will ever happen. There you go. The production for Ghost in the Shell was about $110 million. $110 million. And the total domestic box office result was only $40 million. $40.5 million. Yikes. The movie did better internationally by $129 million. So, but still, it would not warrant a sequel at this point, unfortunately. So that's what happened with Scarlett Johansson. And you would think that after that, Tyler is in. What's up, Tyler? Yes, Ghost in the Shell. Tyler says Ghost in the Shell was some trash. Yes, I agreed. I remember sitting at the screening, and throughout the whole time, I was not even thinking about the whole whitewashing thing. I was thinking like, what the hell am I watching? This is garbage. The script sucked. The bad guys sucked. The climactic moments sucked. I was like, this is a B-rated mediocre action sci-fi that just happens to have Scarlett Johansson's face on it. So I agree with you, Tyler. So yeah, you would think that after that she would learn her lesson, right? That if you were Scarlett Johansson, you'd be like, oh man, people are hating my movie. It didn't do well at the box office. I guess I should not do this whole whitewashing crap. I should not do anything that's gonna piss people off. Tyler says the explanation for why she was white was pretty dumb too. That's right. That's right. That's revealed at the end. By the way, this video contains spoilers. At the end of the Ghost in the Shell, apparently her character was originally Japanese, and she became, Scarlett Johansson's character. It was just so dumb. It was just so dumb. So you would think after that Scarlett Johansson would learn her lesson, but no. Now it's 2018, and she's like, "Hold my beer. I can, I can one up some more here." So what happened? What happened? Let me read to you from the source here, The Hollywood Reporter and Variety. And this, I want to say, happened this past Tuesday, so 2 days ago or the day before 4th of July. So Scarlett Johansson is reteaming or reuniting with Ghost in the Shell director Rupert Sanders. That should give you a bad sign, right? I mean, have you seen Rupert Sanders movies? But anyway, they are reuniting for a film project based on the true story of a transgender man named Dante Tex Gill. And this trans man was a massage parlor owner. And let me read to you here what she did. She basically owned a prostitution ring. No, excuse me. Back in the 70s and the 80s. So she was like a boss. And her birth sex is female, but she identified as male. And so she wore suits and ties. She had short hair. Dante Tex Gill was also she also preferred to be called Mr. Gill, and she married a woman named Cynthia Bruno of Dallas, Texas. And so basically, again, Gill ran a prostitution ring, a massage parlor in Pennsylvania, and the authorities raided her place, and she got tried for basically what Al Capone was tried for, which is income tax fraud. Well, Al Capone was tax evasion, but yeah, it's a form of tax fraud evasion. So that's basically a bit of history of Dante Tex Gill for you, from what I can gather. So that's the real life character, and I think Dante Tex Gill already passed on or died a long time ago. So there's a movie made about Dante Tex Gill, and it's called Rub and Tug. And so Scarlett Johansson was gonna play, or has signed on to play, this character, Dante Tex Gill. And so, bam, just like that, man. Oh, Coach Movies joining in. Coach Movies asks, "Is Rupert hooking up with ScarJo now?" I think that's a swipe on the snipe on the fact that Rupert Sanders had an affair with Kirsten Stewart from the set of Snow White and the Huntsman. Do you remember that? So, but I don't know, Coach. Who knows? With 2 movies now, but I don't want to speculate. But back to the controversy. So basically, that news hit the web, and bam, it caused everybody to lose their shit. Everybody was angry. Everybody lost their mind. Everybody was pissed. A bunch of transgender actors in Hollywood tweeted, expressing their, frustration and anger basically over the news. Let me read to you what they tweet here. If you are familiar with actress Tracy Lysette from the series Transparent, she said, and I quote, "So you can continue to play us, but we can't play you all? I would not be as upset if I was getting in the same room as Jennifer Lawrence and Scarlett for cis roles, but we know that's not the case." End quote. Now, if you guys are wondering, cis means cisgender, people who, I identify with their birth sex. Now, transgender man, as I said, but the birth sex is female, but identifies as male. Transgender woman is the birth sex is male, but identifies as a female. So these are some terms that and jargons that, in case you hadn't, okay, just so you can keep up with the topic. Tracy Lysette also continued to say, and I quote, "Not only do you play us and steal our narrative and our opportunity, but you pat yourselves on the back with trophies and accolades for mimicking what we have lived. So twisted. I'm so done." So that's Lysette Tracy, actress from Transparent series. And there's a bunch of tweets here from journalists, from activists, human rights activists, and other actors who are not trans, but they are also angry at this news. Jamie Clayton says, okay, never mind. I'm sorry. That's not a tweet. But yeah, there's so many. You can find it online. Everybody was like jumping on it, like, let's get on this. And guess what? Guess what Scarlett Johansson did? Boy, she did not learn her lesson. This woman did not learn her Ghost in the Shell lesson. She released a statement through her representative, and it's very brief. Her very brief statement. She said, and I quote, "Tell them that they can be directed to Jeffrey Tambor, Jared Leto, and Felicity Huffman's reps for comment." Damn. I'm cracking up because this is like, holy crap, ScarJo, you're making things worse now. It's like, okay. Before I get to what I think about this, my opinion about this, I just gotta say, man, to give you guys context regarding Scarlett Jo statement or response, Jared Leto won Oscar playing a trans woman in Dallas Buyers Club movie, and I thought he did a phenomenal job. I'm sure transgender community folks were also angry at that, but I understand their anger. I'm not saying their anger is not validated, but from a performance standpoint, I thought he did a great job. I think he deserved his reward. That's just my opinion. Felicity Huffman. Felicity Huffman is a woman, and she played a trans woman in the movie Transamerica, and she got Oscar nominated for that role. Jeffrey Tambor, another name in Scarlett Johansson's response, won a couple of Emmys for the Transparent series. The show that Tracy Lysette also is a part of. And Jeffrey Tambor, I think at his second Emmy win, he went on the stage, he accepted his Emmy, and in his speech, he said, "We got to give transgender actors their dues, give them auditions. Come on, Hollywood, cast them in trans roles, So we got to give Jeffrey Tambor some credit for that, for expressing that in his speech, in his acceptance speech. Granted, eventually Jeffrey Tambor got fired from Transparent series, as you know, because of harassment and abuse, not necessarily sexual abuse, but he's a dick. He's a dick to his co-stars and his subordinates, and everybody doesn't want to work with him anymore. So, granted, that's what happened to him, but for that speech, you got to give him credit. So those are the three names in Scarlett Johansson's response. I also want to mention that Tom Hanks is not gay, but he won an Oscar playing a gay man in Philadelphia. Oh, such an awesome movie. If you haven't seen Philadelphia, you are missing out, guys. So it gets you right here. Especially that scene when Tom Hanks' character was explaining to Denzel Washington's character, his lawyer, this one opera music that he loves so much. Oh, and then it brought tears to his eyes. Oh, such a powerful scene. And then Hilary Swank is not gay or trans, but she played a lesbian who dressed like a boy dating a girl in the movie Boys Don't Cry. And Hilary Swank won Oscar for that. So, okay, so here's the thing, guys. A few points. And I want to bring this up to you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Diesel Films just chimed in. Diesel is like asking, why are people so angry? Scarlett Johansson is a good actress and she played a robot too. Well, that's basically the topic. That's the question, right? That's the $1 million questions, Diesel. So is that anger validated, right? Are they right and justified to be angry about this whole issue of Scarlett Johansson playing a trans man? Well, here's, to me, this is very nuanced. This is not, because when the news first came out on Tuesday, I immediately I tweeted, guys, and then I deleted that tweet because I wanted to address it further in this YouTube live stream. But immediately I took a side. I tweeted, guys, it's acting, guys, it's acting. You know, if you're trying to push this, then you're gonna take away the whole thing about acting itself. Acting is playing pretend, being becoming someone that you're not, performing. That's what it is. So, but I deleted that tweet. I was like, oh, that seems too one-sided, too biased, and I think it's more nuanced than that. That's why I want to bring this up to you guys on this YouTube live stream, because that's one argument, right? That's one argument. He can say, hey guys, calm down. It's just acting, maybe Scarlett Johansson's thinking, hey, this could be an Oscar-worthy role, right? Every actor in Hollywood wants to challenge themselves, or, well, not every actor, but some folks got to that point in their career. It's like, oh, yeah, it's nice to play Marvel character, but I want to challenge myself too. Maybe Scarlett's thinking that way with this character, with this script, with this project. He's like, this is my chance at something that's award worthy. And she probably genuinely thinks that she's got it. She has what it takes to do this. But that's in her defense. So that's one argument, right? But the other argument is also not wrong. The fact that historically, just like Ghost in the Shell, historically, transgender roles in Hollywood have been played by straight actors or actors who are not trans. Just like there's a history, every time there's an Asian character, either it got rewritten to change it into some kind of other race, or somebody that you can cast Ryan Gosling to, or straight up cast a white man with that same Asian character's name. So that's why Asians were angry about Ghost in the Shell, because again and again, all these years, we always got snubbed, and now we got this one and we got snubbed again. So that argument is not wrong either. That's why I understand where transgender community is coming from, because there's that history and they're so pissed. They're like, come on, when do we get our turn? Another point of argument that you can see also. Let me get to the comments here. Diesel Film says, you can't blame Scarlett for taking the role. Coach Movie says, I don't blame her. Tyler Calvert says, Amy Schumer has been portraying a comedian all these years, though she's not. Brilliant, brilliant, Tyler. Oh, that is a great job. Amy Schumer has been portraying a comedian all these years, and she's not even funny. Oh, that is hilarious. Tyler, you guys, you gotta subscribe to Tyler's YouTube channel, guys. That man is hilarious and very insightful. Great reviewer. So those are the two opposing arguments, right? The acting versus, hey, historically we always got snubbed. And the other 2 points or 2 angles of looking at this topic is the reason I was not too pissed about Ghost in the Shell is because, well, partly because, hey guys, it's a fictional character. It's a fictional character, okay? Calm your horses. Now, I would be up on the streets, riding with you guys with torches and pitchforks if all of a sudden Billy Zane got cast as Martin Luther King Jr. in a movie. Or, I don't know, Ryan Gosling playing Muhammad Ali, or vice versa. Then yeah, I'll be like, whoa, what's going on there, guy? That's an actual person you're portraying. All right, you gotta be accurate. Ghost in the Shell, that's not an actual person. That's a fictional. So there's some creative freedom, creative license, creative liberty that can come with that. That could come with that. So those are the 2 points of looking at this topic as well. Dante Texgill is an actual person, an actual transgender man. Maybe there is an argument to be said like, hey, it should be played by an actual transgender man because that's a real life person that you're playing there. It's based on a true story. It's not fictional. So you can't just go nilly-nilly about it. But again, you can go back to the other argument. But it's acting, it's performing. Otherwise, we would not have Jared Leto and Tom Hanks winning their Oscars or Jeffrey Tambor winning their Emmys. So that's what I mean by nuance. It's not, at this point, there can be right and wrong in all sides of the arguments. You can take a side and say, hey, no, I'm right. You guys are wrong. But the other team could also say, hey, I'm right. You guys are wrong. Now, I want to bring up to you guys also the fact that if you recall, actor Ed Skrein, I want to say Ed Skrein? Ed Skrein. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's the guy that stars in The Transporter Refueled. If you recall, he was originally the character Ben Daimio in the Hellboy reboot. But do you remember what happened? Anybody? Ed Skrein gave up that role. And now the role is played by Daniel Day Kim. Because the role is of Asian descent. So you could probably say, hey, Scarlett, do the right thing and give up the role. Do I think she was right in her response? Her response saying, hey, tell the haters to refer to the reps or representatives of Jared Leto, Jeffrey Tambor, and Felicity Huffman. I think that's a pretty stuck-up response, if you ask me. It's a pretty tone-deaf. Yeah, tone-deaf is the right word to describe it. I was like, oh, man, like I said earlier, you're digging it deeper, Scarlett. You could be more sensitive in your response, but then you're basically saying, hey, it's shit. Tough luck. Talk to the hand. That's what basically Scarlett Johansson is saying with her response. Talk to the hands. I don't care. It's shit. You go to hell. Look at those guys that won awards. I want to win awards like them too. So it's a pretty tone deaf, high on what's called that? She's like on her horse, "Hi, Almighty" kind of response. So I thought she could have handled it much better. Unfortunately, she didn't. But that's my. Let's see. Let me read some of the response. Tyler says, "Give us the Black Widow solo film instead." Yep. Everybody agreed. City Honan says, "Sometimes stars just want to try something else, open and expand to see what they can do." A fair argument too. Like I said, from the acting and performance standpoint. Just a little bit of a tangent here, guys. If you recall, do you remember Tropic Thunder when Robert Downey Jr. played a black guy? I was like, when the trailer web, because back then I was not really in the business yet. I was like, holy crap! Oh my goodness, black people are gonna be so pissed. Isn't this what they call blackfacing? But then the movie came out, and Robert Downey Jr. got Oscar nominated for that role. So, and there was not too much backlash about it. The backlash about Tropic Thunder was actually on Ben Stiller's character, who played a mentally developed character in one of the fake trailer in the Tropic Thunder movie. The R word now, we call it. So the backlash is more on that rather than on Robert Downey Jr. playing a black guy. And I was just confused. To this day, I still don't know, like, okay, so is this selective outrage? Means you're outraged at one thing, and if you like actor, you're not too outraged about it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm still confused about that. Of course, that doesn't solve the Scarlett Johansson problem. I think the right move for her, if you ask me, would be to give up the role. That's just my take on it. With Felicity Huffman and Jared Leto and Jeffrey Tambor and Tom Hanks and all those and Hilary Swank, we were at a time or in day and age back then where, unfortunately, not to take away from their performances, because they were great performances, but at that time we were in this bubble as a society, as film goers, that we just like, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. We go to the movies. Oh, Felicity Huffman playing a trans woman. Okay, Jared Leto playing, that's fine. But times have changed. Times have changed. Maybe now I need to change with it too. Like I said before, with Bill and Ted movies, they use the F word, not the fuck, but the other F word. They're going to come up with a new Bill and Ted movie. I don't think they're going to be able to fly or get away with saying that F word. I don't think it's going to, I don't think it's going to land with audiences anymore today. So I think that's the right thing to do. I know Scarlett Johansson probably was like, oh my God, this is my chance. But we're at a time now where it's getting more and more transparent, no pun intended, that the Asian community needs to get their dues on the screen. The transgender communities needs to get their dues on the screen. If not now, when? Because they've been snubbed forever. So I think I'm making a decision right now to put myself in their shoes, and say, hey, let's give them a chance. And I'm sure Scarlett Johansson, putting aside her stuck-up, tone-deaf response, I'm sure she would do well in this role. The character is a pretty overweight, not so good-looking trans man, so Scarlett Johansson will have to do a physical transformative, a very significant one. But I think acting-wise, performance, I think she can pull a Charlize Theron in Monster, with this one. But again, we're at a time now that it seems that actors could not just easily get away with that anymore. But that's my take on it. Let me go to the comments here before I end this topic. Tyler says the dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. That's right. Diesel Film says Fisher Stevens played an Indian guy in Short Circuit 2. And then Tyler reminds us of Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Yes, I remember that movie. Coach Movies, Ben Kingsley as Gandhi. Ben Kingsley kind of half Indian though, Diesel Film says. Yeah, Ben Kingsley is one of those folks, guys, who his heritage is such mixed heritage. I mean, look him up, man. He's like, you know that song, "We Are the World, We Are the World, We Are the Children." Ben Kingsley could play or could sing that song by himself. That song is pretty much written and made for Ben Kingsley. He can be any, race, any ethnic character, and he'll pass. Yeah, even Marvel cast him as the Mandarin. Oh my goodness, Ben Kingsley. That's another topic another time, but that cracks me up. Oh, so yeah, I think we're at a time right now where Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany won't fly anymore with audiences. I don't know what the word is for actors who are not trans playing transgender roles. I know the word is not racist. I'm sure there's an ist for that. So I think the right thing to do is for Scarlett Johansson to pass on the role. Plus, it's directed by Rupert Sanders anyway. How good will the movie be? Damn, burn. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. Tyler, Diesel Films, and Coach Movies for chiming in, and Cindy Hornet. Appreciate so much for joining in and chiming in on this discussion. We'll see in the next couple of weeks if Scarlett Johansson decides to change her mind. My prediction is she probably won't, given that response. That response is like a middle finger, which is so I think with that response and her being stubborn, I think it's gonna backfire at the film's expense. Just like Ghost in the Shell lost so much money at the box office, that's what's gonna happen to Rub and Tug. Even if Rub and Tug doesn't get released nationwide. So I think that's what might happen. That is what's gonna happen from the business standpoint on the Rub and Tug movie about Tex Gill. Get that name right. Thank you so much for tuning in on this YouTube live stream. I appreciate so much for you guys sharing your opinions here. And make sure you guys come back this Sunday. I'll rocking it with Rama Screen Live. I will be discussing other news topics from the world of movies, TV, and entertainment. You guys rock. Let's rock this.